Radio Free Skaro!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 822. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
For the first time since the pandemic was ravaging Europe and Asia, but not North America, with the exception of one day in January, we are talking about new Doctor Who with the potential and indeed the promise of more Doctor Who to come in the weeks ahead. Yes, it's the return of Doctor Who Flux chapter. No, we have to say Doctor Who Flux. Is it colon or hyphen after that?
Both,
I don't.
both.
Is it both?
Yeah, it's to cover your bases.
Yeah, it's Doctor Who Flux. The Halloween
Colon
Apocalypse.
within a hyphen.
Episode 1.
Isn't that like a divide symbol then?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Or a hyphen within a colon?
Oh, there's, I imagine my spouse Erica has a lot to say about like hyphens, and then there's like the M dash. Is it an M dash? Is that what it is?
It could be an N dash.
N dash? Yeah.
Yeah, M dash.
We had
is
11
long,
months
dash
to
is
talk
short.
about grammar? Not even grammar, punctuation.
Punctuation here on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night. We're here. We're doing a live stream, by the way, for future reference, everyone. Where this is being broadcast live to North America, South America, and Australia and New Zealand. The United Kingdom is sleeping right now. We are slagging you off before we hit recording because
If there's an insomniac watching, then sure, we are broadcasting to them too.
Hello to the midnight shift workers and insomniacs of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Here we are.
We're here to make everything worse.
Yeah. So, Flux, the first of a 6-part story. There is the Doctor and Yaz. They're traveling around. They're trying to catch a dog. There's John Bishop, who's a down really nice guy who gives literally everything he has for...
I was going to say, he looks like he's actually starving to death somehow.
a little bit. I don't know how he eats. Because
he had four loose spaghetti noodles on the cover.
He
so
sure
he's
did.
set for a while.
That is true.
Yeah.
There are a couple of the people called the Swarm and Azure. I read the cast list, or who obviously know the Doctor, but she doesn't know them. There are the Sontarans. There is Vinder in Operation Outpost Rose, it was called. There is Claire, who is very mysterious and knows the Doctor and Yaz, but they don't know her, and she gets sent back in time by the Weeping Angels. There's a guy, an actual guy, Joseph Williamson, who is a real person in Liverpool in 1820 who digs mysterious tunnels. No one knows what they are for to this day. That's an actual event that happened there. All of that in one episode of Doctor Who.
And probably more. We'll probably cook up some more there, too.
Probably some more, yeah.
Yeah.
So it takes us a while to get used to the rhythm of these things. I'm going to start with Chris, because you watched it 2.5 times today.
I watched it 2.5 times. Yes,
Yeah.
the latter half being the 0.5.
Oh, okay. You just thought I'd just come in halfway through. and just
but about the 25-minute mark and just watched the last half.
come in off the bench. What then? What then are your initial impressions of Flux, M dash, colon, chapter 1, the hyphen, the Halloween Apocalypse?
I'm gonna do a visual joke to see if this works, because I don't know if it will, but my initial impression was, I don't know if you can read that, it's Krusty the Clown saying, "What the hell was that?"
The hell was that? There you go.
After Worker and Parasite.
So you were you were a bit flummoxed by Flux, were you?
Fluxmas.
No.
Happy Fluxmas, everyone.
There's a lot going on. What can I say?
There's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm. I in my notes, and I'm pretty sure it's not complete, but I made a list of like 12 threads that are going on that we have not had. Well, we're not going to have conclusions on anytime soon, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot, and
Yeah, it's definitely a part 1 of 6 is what it is.
It's definitely a part 1 of 6. It's tough to know. It's tough to know anything because part 1 of 6.
Because
I was talking to Kat after the second viewing, maybe the first. I can't recall.
Right.
Maybe even the second and a half. Asking her what she thought, and she said what she said. No, I'll not repeat it and let her save that for verity. But she asked me what I thought, and I'm like, I don't know what to think. And she said, did you enjoy watching it? And I'm like, no, because I don't know what to think.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I see.
You need to form an opinion to know if you enjoyed watching a thing or not. That's your
kind of. After the second and a half time, I'm like, okay, so because I missed bits here and there, or the sound mix was such that speech got drowned out.
Right.
So it was tough to know everything that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So by the second and a half time, I'd kind of, put enough pieces of the puzzle together to say, yeah, okay, fine. I'm looking forward to the rest. I can finally say I enjoyed the ride for episode 1, but with an asterisk at the end because I want the rest, and I'm gonna have to wait.
You're like a Netflix viewer. You want.
I was gonna say,
right
you want to binge, and too bad.
What about your initial?
I don't know if I want to binge, but yeah.
No, don't binge. Never. Let it breathe. Don't eat 6 meals at once. Eat one at a time. Digest them. Warren, your initial impressions.
My initial impressions, just to give a little background, my friend Glenn, who just came in from London, came to watch it with me, and so we were both having a grand old time. We both quite enjoyed it. My overriding thought during it was, I really hope he can keep these balls in the air now that he's thrown them all in the air, because they're all interesting objects that he's juggling around, but is this going to stick the landing or is not? That's a little premature, honestly, in episode 1 of 6, But what I saw, I did enjoy. And primarily, I think my favorite thing had to be, I don't know what they called, Luparians, whatever, the dog guy. I thought he was absolutely great. Because he's this cranky jerk of a dog who's just trying to help, but he's going to be a jerk about it. And also, that's a pretty ridiculous dog helmet, which I love. Like, when Doctor Who can bridge the amazing special effects of the current era with the crap special effects of the previous era, and somehow make it work anyway, I am all for it.
Yeah, I'm not an avid television watcher apart from Doctor Who. I've said that many times on this podcast, and as my days wind down, I am more and more adamant that I'm just gonna cut.
It's a little morbid of you.
A little bit. I'm just gonna watch Doctor Who from now on. Pretty much I am. But anyway, I'm watching the opening pre-credit sequence. I never watched Loki. I didn't watch Loki or any of the Marvel shows, obviously, but I have watched Foundation, which is, 2 episodes into that still. But I wouldn't call Foundation a fun show.
Oh, no, it's not. It's a big sweeping drama type of thing.
It's a big sweeping drama. And then there's the Doctor and Yaz hanging upside down, and they're flying, and they fly through the TARDIS and hit a trampoline and land. Obviously, they're doing campouts under the stars or something like that.
I think they have.
A little more fun than that. They land on a bed together, and that, I'm sure you guys are happy that Thasman seems to be alive and well.
And dork that I am, I'm like, well, there's plenty more rooms in the TARDIS. You don't need to have that right there.
Right, that's true.
Completely passing over the obvious implications to the stupid ones.
It's like having a sleepover in your living room.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it was.
Anyway, I guess so.
The credits start to roll and go, this is fun. I miss fun.
Yeah, it was definitely, if nothing else, it was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I imagine we'll probably get more in-depth stuff, because you're right. There's a lot. There's a lot in an episode.
Tons. Probably too much when you get right down to it.
We've never had Doctor Who like this before, in that it's a modern telling of the show, but in a serialized format.
Like Trial of Time Lord wasn't. It was a bunch of bridging stuff around proper episodes.
And it was 1986.
That too, yeah.
And TV's just made different nowadays. And there was really only one plot. There's the courtroom, and there is the story that's happening on the screen. Here we have, as I outlined at the beginning of this, there's 8 different things happening, And
the courtroom was important enough to make a special edit of Vervoids that didn't include it at all.
Right, exactly. And so what maybe a Netflix show would have done is
be boring until the last episode.
probably
Look gray and slurryish, unlike this.
it would look gray and slurry. We'd probably focus on 2 characters, maybe 3 storylines, and then the next episode we get 2 or 3 more, and it'll be a lot more incremental. Whereas this, everyone goes out like 8 moves of chess at once in the first episode.
I didn't expect to see Vinder first episode for one thing. I thought it'd be a couple down the line. I don't know, based on what? Nothing really, just instinct, I guess. But
right, I guess I didn't expect Carnavista to be as prominent. For some reason, I just assumed he would be a pre-title sequence character, and we dispense with him and get on.
He has that air about him. But
Carvanista, thank you. But no, everyone is pretty much, apart from the Liverpool thing, which only features like in the very early scene at the very end, and then. Anyway, there's a whole bunch. I loved it. I watched it 4 times. 4 times today I watched this episode. I watched it initially through magical means. I watched it. I was not going to watch it, but an hour later I wanted to sort of check a scene or 2, and then I realized, well, I guess I'm watching it now, so I'm going to watch it again. Then the space airing happened, and I wanted to see that. We'll talk about that later. And then I watched it properly again right before we hit record because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it that much and it made me realize that in past weeks I've said how I haven't seen Series 9 in a while, and this is why, because I watched each episode 4 times in the space of 24 hours. And then
also,
I talk about it.
25 hours of footage from the live studios in the space of 24 hours.
That too. So I go hard and then I leave it for a while, and so. No, I really liked this episode. As you say, Warren, there's going to be a lot to make sure that it
and I hope you can do it.
Fail. Yep, because they're setting stuff up. But yeah, I think it was a good start. Boy, how do we talk about this? How do we talk about this?
Do we nail down particular bits? Like, for instance, I don't remember his name because to be honest, when I first saw him, I'm like, this better not be Tim Shaw again. And he definitely has a Shaw-ish way about him. Swarm. Thank you. Yes,
it's almost Shaw when you think about it.
And then his sister, who's somehow hidden inside somebody else, and she knows it, but she doesn't, or something like that. Which also has quite the ring of what was going on with the Ruth Doctor. Also, I saw somebody point out that the guns being wielded by those, I guess, wardens, I suppose, at the very start, are the same ones that Ruth had. So maybe that's the division holding this guy back. Maybe
they are the
their
division.
Big secret.
They are the division.
Did they say
they even
that?
said it. They even say, Swarm actually said that, for your service to division or something. He said,
so I thought I was being clever, and I wasn't.
No,
so never mind.
No, I think it's, from what I can tell, just based on this is mostly going to be a lot of speculation and seeing how wrong we are, is that I feel like Swarm is probably an enemy of the Doctor's in the pre-Hartnell days, and that's why he knows who she is, but she doesn't know who he is, because they're so efficient, he said, because they must have wiped your mind completely and stuff. So obviously we're picking up threads left from the Timeless Children,
which I'm glad to see. I'm glad they're just going to let that sit.
Yeah. So that's my anticipation of where that's going, but there could be, I was surprised about about Carvanista. I keep saying Vista. It should be Vista. Carvanista. Am I right?
Yeah.
Carvin, not Carniv. Carvin.
Right.
Got it.
Like carving.
Carving.
Carving a vista.
Carving a vista. Him, because everyone just assumed, he's kidnapping. But I do like the twist that there's a planet full of dog people that are all beholden to one human apiece, and they have to go.
But don't even like them.
And they
That's
don't
great.
have to like the human. They just have to protect them. Yeah.
And they kind of resent doing it, but they're like, well, we gotta, which is a kind of cat people would do nothing of the sort. Absolutely nothing. Sorry.
It's my guess that each each carve and each Lupari, there we go, basically adopts the language and dialect of the person that they are bonded to.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Hence there being a Liverpudlian dog.
Which I just found funnier than hell. It was very amusing.
Yeah.
On top of the outfit and everything else, it was just fun to watch this. Whoever was playing it was doing a great job, I thought.
Yeah. Let's talk about Dan. There's Dan. There's a new guy called Dan Lewis there.
I walked into the whole Dan thing. It was kind of shades of Graham. At first, I was like, Graham, this middle-aged guy, who cares, right? Whatever. And then Graham charmed the hell out of me. And I wouldn't say Dan is quite Graham level, but he's a likable enough fellow. This character is anyway. So, and the fact that he's doing a tour guerrilla style somehow made me go, yeah, okay, this guy's all right.
Yeah, he does good things. Yeah.
All we saw ahead of time. Yeah, exactly. They go out of their way to show you what a good guy is, but all we saw ahead of time was that one baffling Halloween clip out of context, and although it's just fine in context, although it did give us the glorious internet meme briefly of the salad man composited in throwing his salad at Dan, which was great.
It was awesome.
But yeah, we only saw that, and then John Bishop talking about the
good.
character. So
yeah. Chris, your thoughts on Dan? Dan Lewis is played by John Bishop. Do you have any thoughts?
I mean, we don't really know much yet.
No,
seems to be a very, very giving person. You know, he wants to. He's risking his ability to stay in the museum by, trying to fake being a tour guide docent kind of person. And then the food bank volunteering.
Lack of food, so he's threatening his own life.
Won't even take food from the food bank despite him having an empty fridge and empty cupboard. The cupboard is bare. Yeah, I mean, I guess I look forward to seeing more. We got 6 episodes to flesh them out, and yeah, I don't think there's much to say yet because there isn't much we know.
Just as an aside, Max Curtis recently on Reality Bomb, he put out a tweet right afterwards where it showed the doctor handing him that tiny version of his house. Here's your house. He's like, I can't live with that. And he's like, this is the British housing market right now. I'm like, it's good call.
That I have seen.
Yeah. Could be Vancouver too when you think about it.
Or Toronto or New York or take it back.
Yeah. No, and you know what? He didn't feel like as much of a third wheel as I thought he would.
No.
Although I guess we didn't really get a lot of.
I'm curious about his hatred for Leeds. I'm assuming it's something football related.
It's got to be. He's got a jersey or whatever the football equivalent is, like framed. So I would think that he's a big fan. Also, I like the callback to Christopher Eccleston's debut when she goes, "Nice to meet you, Dan. Run for your life."
Yeah, I know. There were a few little hat tips there. The Outpost Rose, Nitro 9. I'm just thinking just strictly of the era, like the modern, the Outpost Rose where Vinder is.
Which kind of looked like a rose as well.
I suppose it did. I never thought about that actually. Yeah. Before it blows up horribly. The Nitro 9 I gathered. The Scottish bit might have been Scottish when I did the...
He's doing both the 7th and the 12th Doctor voices.
The handcuffs.
More or less. Mm-hmm. And why does she have 2 pairs of handcuffs?
Oh, yeah, the internet's already...
You already know that answer, Warren.
They already know this answer. Yeah. Yep.
One for each wrist. Come on. You
gotta that's how it works. Okay, got it.
The safe word is relief.
Is it now?
Just saying that. No, it is. That's what unlocked the cuffs when they finally got into the TARDIS.
Right, you're saying release.
No, but that's a relief, and then the cuffs.
Okay. I didn't even notice that. Okay, but I didn't have subtitles for one thing, so.
No, well, this is what you pick up when you watch it 4 times and like this.
I guess 2.5 wasn't enough.
No. She said that was a relief, and then the cuffs came apart. So yeah. Big camp out in the TARDIS control room there with the trampoline. It looks like they were just sort of like sitting there, lying there, watching the universe perhaps sprawl out before them through the TARDIS doors.
Biting my tongue so hard.
Tongues will wag.
So hard right now.
Tongues will wag. But alas, they get interrupted. They're into it. They're into the whole story right away. Maybe if there was an 8 episode, maybe if this was 8 episodes, we'd have like a lot more lingering. We'd have a lot more Netflixing. It'd be drawn out a lot more.
How about out. I'm perfectly fine with them not drawing things out.
Me too. Yeah. I just hope they can put all the toys back in the box now. Like seeing how much they've opened in this episode, and there's only 5 episodes left.
Oh yeah, weird.
Assuming that
I'm sure all the toys will go back in the box. The question is always going to be how satisfying is it as a resolution to whatever's out there.
Also true. Also very true. I've jotted down the odd note here, mostly just talking points. The Weeping Angel scene, that was good.
Yes, that was good.
It was very creepy. Although, why does she turn around when she knows she's not supposed to blink?
Well,
She couldn't get in the door.
you can sort of tie this into just Claire's story, because this is something I picked up on my fourth viewing, is that, she wasn't expecting to see the Doctor and Yaz there. Clearly she's met them at some point in the past. And then after she runs into them, she says, Claire, you have to go home now. She knows what's waiting. She knows that the Weeping Angel is there, that she is going to go into the past because of the Weeping Angel, so she's been there before.
For the sake of convenience, my default assumption is she'll go back to 1820 Liverpool.
Presumably, yeah.
Presumably.
Or just the Crimean War, because that's what's happening next week, apparently.
That is what's happening next week, yeah. Yeah, one thinks that, although the interesting thing is, you listen to the music, it's great, as you said, Chris, the music for the Weeping Angel scene was great, but as the angel is coming towards her at the door, it feels like there's some sort of like ethereal, like almost creepy fairground kind of music. Like it feels like old-timey music being played, but very distorted. And I'm trying to think, like, what time period would that even be? It's obviously post-date 1820 Liverpool, if that's
I
an
think
indication.
The glory years of that kind of stuff would be like 1920 back to about 1860, 70, something like that.
That, yeah. Early gramophone
depending on an
days.
organ, and probably a steam-powered organ, so which presumably there were, I don't know anything about the history of organs,
Or
but I'm
just
assuming...
after the Crimean War, perhaps.
Or
There
maybe
you go.
Because that was
Yeah.
the 1850s. So.
Yeah. But, it doesn't look like it's Crimea because she materializes in a much sunnier part of time and space at the very end there during the massive cliffhanger. So that's something to speculate about. But
You mean the character recap scene? Yeah.
kind of like, here who was in this episode again. Yeah, that sort of thing.
It's like the end of a 70s sitcom or something. You got all the guest cast showing with their faces and their names and their...
By the way, very much an aside, but my favorite thing about 70s openers is how nobody had any qualms about having people just talk with no sound. They just threw any old video there in, which they just never would do nowadays. It's just an appalling thing. You could never do that now, but
No.
It's weird how they just didn't care back in the day.
Well, things were different back in those days, yeah. No, that was, I haven't watched The Angels Take Manhattan in a while, but
Consider yourself lucky.
That whole, it makes me, I certainly complained about the promotion aspects, about how there was no promotion, next to no promotion. Pretty much there's a trailer and a thing, and then sort of went quiet again, and then literally everything came out like on the weekend. Like this past weekend, I saw like things from Entertainment Weekly and a bunch of other things, and like all these other, and they all like dropped like on Thursday or Friday. And I was like, space this out a little bit. But I almost kind of wish that we wouldn't have seen anything about the Weeping Angels. That would have been.
On the other hand, that partly is due to the fact that now you can play us back on the iPlayer or I think HBO Max, and I think it's already on Crave now too. It's same.
It
day
is on
now.
Crave, yep.
So
It dropped,
so people see that and they go, "Oh, I'll watch that Tuesday or Wednesday when I'm free," and they can do that now. It's not like it depends on them seeing it. The marketing isn't, the crux is not them seeing it when it comes out. So
No.
So
I know
in
what
a
you
way,
mean.
it's not dumb to put stuff out now to keep awareness up.
No, and this is my complaint, is that they're still sort of beholden to that magical Sunday night post Country File crowd, like that's the.
I think it was Emily Cook who said, "That's my favorite part of the week, the last 5 minutes of Country File."
Yep.
Learning about the Cornish king crab. Yep.
Is that what it was? I was sort of like. My magical antenna wasn't working up until literally 5 minutes before, and then it played out fine. So I was sort of like just assuming that I would have to find a different magical antenna to get. And so then all of a sudden it just popped into place, and I watched the whole episode. So I didn't pay attention to Country File perhaps as much as I should have. So I'm sorry.
Please repeat that sentence
You've
back
got
to
5 more
yourself.
chances.
Why would you need to pay any attention to Country File? You do not live in the English countryside, nor are you likely to. So,
but it's the longest wait. I don't even remember what used to air before Doctor Who.
Don't Scare the Hair was the longest wait. That was a much longer wait.
I never watched those. I don't.
Country File is at least nicely shot and not inane.
Yeah.
There's also Tumble. Don't forget Tumble.
I never watched
I
Tumble.
wish I could.
I never watched the One Glorious Week of Tumble. I'm just trying to think of what other. I think it was probably Strictly Come Dancing was before it a lot during the Capaldi era.
And that's such a big event that it's like, well, okay, it's just like it's like having a football game in front of it, basically. So you're just like, I guess I gotta accept this.
Yeah, I like very little credits, and I was thinking, are they gonna be done this? This is gonna be a live event. Is this gonna go over and like post? Oh no, it's over. Oh, well, there's Doctor Who.
It always ended so abruptly, and you're like, really? Because this would be nothing but self-congratulations if it was an American production or Canadian if we had the money.
Whereas Country File, they give you credits and then they give you like a weather report. And they go, oh, I did not need the weather right now. I don't need the weather.
Come on. What's the temperature in Upper Cambridge? Which I might have just made up.
It's always going to be 17 for crying out loud. 17 and cloudy. Just accept it. So let's see what else I got here. The Weeping Angel scene, very creepy. Who are the main villains I put down here? Swarm and Azure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, did we talk about that? I suppose I sort of...
Here's my because we've seen 1 of 6 episodes, so I'm going to theorize madly and probably be wrong.
Oh, it's going to be fun. We're going to be wrong.
Letting him out of his cage or him escaping is probably what released the Flux in the first place. That is my guess.
All right. I can understand that I think.
Yeah, because...
So, I don't know if I agree, but...
Because we don't necessarily like everything that we see here doesn't necessarily happen at exactly the same time.
That's true. In fact, it expressly doesn't. Like stuff's happening in 1820 and 3 trillion light years away, but we don't know when. Maybe the time of the Crimean War.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As far as his imprisonment goes, the people from the division say how they had been told that he'd been there since the beginning of the universe, but of course, people tell stories. So how long has he been there? Does the division predate him? Did they find him there?
Did they predate the universe?
Let's keep him there. Why was he kept there for so long? Why now to escape?
Is he being kept outside of time? I mean, technically Gallifrey is in a pocket universe, so who knows?
Yeah. And the older guard, suffering from retirement.
Oh dear. Yeah, that wasn't great.
Yeah. Oh, I like how she lays out the rules. On no account must you engage in discussion with the prisoner.
What's the first thing they do? They have a conversation with them. Yeah.
She thought, whatever. This is my last day. I'm going to let it all out now. I'm tired of you. I have kept this in for I don't know how many thousands of years. Gets blown away. That was a very creepy transition, actually, the old into the...
There was a lot of particle effects in this thing. A lot of particle effects. But those were good effects.
It looked good. There were a lot of good effects in this, I thought.
Because it almost looks like they're like melting, and then they become this swarm of stuff that goes all over space, right? But
but just the eyes, the piercing red eyes, when he sort of renews himself.
Yeah, the whole absorbing the energy thing, and the spikes coming out like from Star Trek 3. Things
I was
like
thinking
that.
more stalactite. They're more of a crystalline.
I'm trying to remember where this is in Star Trek 3.
Oh, and the Genesis planet is dying. All the things come spiking up out of the
ground. Oh, okay.
Genesis!
All right. Sounds good. And I was like, you better not be referring to Star Trek Beyond. There is only one Star Trek 3.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Sure. The whole sequence looked really, really good for his head and face and stuff. And then we start the show with not so good effects as far as the planet with the acid pools and whatever.
That was fun, though. I didn't care. I was having so much fun watching them fly around. The green screens weren't fantastic, but who cares? That's also a very difficult way to, like, the way her coat is and the color of the stuff they've got flying around. That is a difficult compositing job they're doing. Also, all the flying around.
I'm
when they're presumably on wires. Job.
Yeah. Right. I like that. I mean, we talked about the dog. I do love that there's a dog alien, and he actually is like, displays dog-like behavior, and that he's like bound to one human and stuff. But I just love that he looks like a cheap dog costume, and
it's great.
They work that in,
and that's how Dan regards him.
Brushes his face,
gives
him a little boop on the nose and stuff. It's just like.
And he's offended by being called a dog, too. He's like, I guess the same thing would happen to us if somebody said, hey, Neanderthal. I'd be like, would you just call me? So I get where he's coming from.
Yeah. What else we got here? Does the Liverpool 1820 warrant a mention? There's a guy digging tunnels.
There's not much to it. I'm sure it's going to figure very bigly. That's a word now.
Yeah.
But for the moment, it's just that. But I did love at the end where they show all the different elements that are going to happen, and they just see that guy scowling, and that's all he's doing for like 2 seconds. It's just scowling.
Yeah. Well, in the background, there's some obviously there's been something that's happened in the mine because there's a bunch of dust cloud coming out. So something has occurred.
An accident. So a Tuesday in 1820, probably.
That's true. How many sad child labor deaths occurred in that scene? Basically,
well, one child it takes 3 men or 3 children to make 1 man. So in a way, we didn't lose anybody.
We only lost 1 person. The Industrial Revolution. Timely.
What a time to be not alive.
Yeah, that's great. We have a lot to thank for the Industrial Revolution, computers
but
and stuff
at what
like that.
cost? I say, at what cost?
World leaders are meeting in Glasgow right now to try and stop the end of the universe. Yeah.
Oops.
One more RTD era thing was the time vortex going in.
That was cool.
Energy.
Yeah,
the vortex.
Which appeared to do sweet FA. So.
Yep.
What'd you say? The Mortex energy?
The Mortex energy is the captions on the I keep wanting to go.
I kind of like that.
Sci-fi.
I'm going to start calling it the Mortex energy.
Mortex. I had a Mortex ski coat. Yeah, it was all right. What else? We talked about Claire. We talked about the dog. We talked about.
I'll throw a couple things out there about Yaz.
Do it.
Yeah,
go for it.
Good point.
Yaz being solo, she's apparently done a lot of stuff, learned a lot of things. Like she was helping with the TARDIS. She scans the cage, is like, 9 booby traps, and then goes to the little computer terminal and fixes it and frees Dan and whatever. So she's got some skills.
Super competent now. Super competent. Yeah.
But
she was competent before, just not at the stuff that she's competent at everything but this.
Yeah,
because she was new to it, like anybody else would be.
Yeah, you could tell that this is a companion on their last season because once they get pretty much as competent as the Doctor. Time's a ticking.
Well, she's also calling the Doctor on her BS too, which is nice to see.
Yeah. Well, to that, I mean, the flip side is the Doctor still isn't really letting her in.
No,
and she calls the Doctor out on that, as you say, Warren.
I mean, to be fair to the Doctor, this is a pretty big deal to her.
Yep.
One of the biggest ever. So you got to let that settle for a second before you tell your companion what's actually going on, because she doesn't actually know all that well what's going on.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah, and that leads to a number of the plot threads that I had noted down, which we'll, I'm sure, get to at some point.
Go on then, Chris. Please go on.
Okay, well, long list. Okay.
Let's do it. I basically ran off my list, and there's just nonsense stuff afterwards. Like,
same here.
Yeah.
So around a dozen plot threads that I've noticed are going on, and if I missed any, do please let me know.
All right, give my best.
So we've got all the tunnel stuff in 1820 Liverpool.
Yes, that's right.
Claire and the Angels.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Arctic Circle. Well, why there?
Pretty far away from stuff, maybe.
True. And it seemed like she was exiled, maybe? Well, who knows?
Or trying to hide anyway.
The Swedish guy or whatever.
That was, that's interesting to me, because I have a question about that. Maybe you can help me about how, like, they never sent a warning. Like, she's expressly trying to avoid the warning. What is the thing that she smashes? Is it the warning disc?
Or is
yeah.
Okay. We're going to find out, presumably.
I feel like we're done. I feel like we're done in the Arctic Circle with...
maybe.
Because she's being freed or transformed or whatever.
Yeah, possibly. So Swarm and Azure. There's we'll find out more about them.
Right.
Vinder's observation post.
Mm-hmm.
Why the Doctor went after Carvanista in the first place, because Yaz doesn't know and questions the Doctor, and the Doctor won't say.
Well, they do sort of half answer it because he can tell us the division.
He's the only
division person. Yeah, and that's the next thing on my list is the division in general.
Right.
Obviously, we'll get more from there. Why are the doors of the TARDIS moving around so much?
I know. There's like 3. Well,
sense.
Not only moving around, but like there's multiple. There's like 3 during the last scene that are open. There's one on the floors, one over there on the wall.
Or why are the doors multiplying, perhaps, might be a better way to phrase it. I don't know.
Is this additional material by Christopher H. Bidmead? Is that what's going on here?
Well, that was their thing. Like when Yaz goes, "Does this ever happen before?" And the Doctor goes, "No." I'm like, well, come on, that's a half-truth.
Now, excuse me, I think
variations of this have happened before many times.
That cloister bell actually rang in Nothopolis for the first time, as written by the Lord thy God, Christopher Hamilton Bidmead. So I think you have to accept that.
No, I'm not being that much of a fact checker, and I don't want her to say. But the alarm bell did go off in my head, which probably says more about me than it does about the show.
Right.
I was like, well, this kind of stuff kind of has happened before. Come on now.
I feel like I've heard the cloister bell more often than it actually has rung in the show's history. Like
when did it come back for? Like, it was Bad Wolf. It was like for season 2 of the new series.
Was
I'm
it
pretty
season
sure.
2, or was it? I know for sure it was the season 3 because the Doctor runs in and it's like the paradox machine and the cloister bells go on.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it was in season 2 as well. No, wait. It was definitely in the one with Donna where they go and everything's covered in Bad Wolf. So that's season.
Yes, season 4.
Okay,
That's 4.
Yeah.
That's 4. And it always hasn't happened in Yaz's time because she asks what it is. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, it just happens all the time. It's just like every week.
And I don't think it does. I think but I'm the same way. I think it happens all the time.
It's happened more in modern Who than classic.
Oh yeah, you burn the.
How many times did it happen in classic? It didn't happen that many times in classic.
No.
It happened in Legopolis,
which is where it's introduced.
We're doing a live chat. Steve Manford's in the chat right now, and I bet he's tabulating all the instances,
working past his fury.
Why am I having to do this? I've got Steve Manford on it right now. I'm sure he'll tell me. I'm sure now that I put public pressure on him, he'll do it now.
By the way, I would like to see the cloister room. We keep hearing this damn bell. So is it now just a Windows chime? Like, I want to see the room again. Come on, guys.
Well, it's wheezes like a Grampus.
Didn't they have to get rid of the room in the Logopolis? I don't know.
Did they delete the cloister room?
Or in Castrovalva? I don't.
Castrovalva?
That's vaguest of memories.
They didn't mention it in the raw studio footage, so I don't know for sure.
Chris,
anyway,
your list, Chris. Go on.
Why didn't the Doctor know about the Flux? There's a lot of why didn't the Doctor know about X? Like why didn't the Doctor know about Swarm? Mm-hmm. What's up with the Sontarans and why are they excited about the Flux?
Yeah, but that's one of my favorite parts because they're just.
We're gonna see some of that next week. I'm assuming.
I'll let you finish your list, and then I'll talk about Sontarans. How about that?
And then the last one was just Diane and the house / Azure and Swarm.
Right. Diane. Oh yeah, Diane. That's right. She gets.
She gets compelled into the house.
Yeah,
which apparently is like a pool or something.
And
it's like she's in water, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It's in a quarry. It's basically in a quarry. Probably the same quarry they filmed the initial scene in. I like to find out where they film things. Speaking of where they film things, let me jump in this here. I went against all my instincts whenever it was and watched a fan shot video of some location filming in Liverpool.
Oh dear.
Not because I wanted spoilers, but I was very curious to see, because this is in the height of COVID, and I wanted to see how they were going to shoot things. It was the scene in the street in Liverpool. That's the bit that I saw. They were basically running out of the TARDIS, going to the door, and then they shot another one of them running back for the door, obviously when the house gets miniaturized and stuff. So I was intrigued. So there were parts of this episode where I was sort of watching like, is this COVID? Are they on the same set right now? Is there plexiglass in between them? I never really noticed that. I don't know what kind of, if they were just doing tests at the time, because all this stuff was probably all shot in that first block. Jimmy Magnus Stone directed 1, 2, and 4.
Well, when you think about it, there's never more than 4 people on screen that I can think of off the top of my head.
No, that's a very good point. And I wonder how much of it was written with COVID in mind,
or revamped after the fact, or not, like before they shot, but after it was written, they probably went back and changed a few things up, or did that on set because they had to.
Yeah, maybe. I don't. Well, I know they did a scene. They did a scene in Revolution of the Daleks that was shot in September of 2020, mostly as a test to see if it could be done for the new series of Doctor Who. So I bet you they probably had in mind limitations that they would have to work on. But you're right. I never really thought about how there's no great crowd scenes, even an office scene. And anytime most people.
But that's great. If we're not thinking about it, that means they succeeded, right? So.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
I was just gonna say about the Sontarans, I like the fact that they dialed back the comedy a bit. Because they kind of have to.
You look disgusting.
Yes.
Putting that aside for the moment.
But with Moffat, and I loved Moffat's Drax stuff.
Yep.
Or Strax stuff, pardon me. Freudian slip.
Yeah.
I love all that stuff. I think it's great. I think Dan Stark is hilarious as Strax, but there's only so much that you can do, and if you're going to bring him back. But I did like that they kept it as an element. And it's like, you really look horrible. Yes, well, there's no need to dwell.
Yeah.
But they are back to their warlike ways, but they're still kind of jackasses, which I quite like. 'Cause you can't not make fun of the Sontarans because they're inherently ridiculous. But it is nice that they're balancing it out a little bit.
Yeah.
They definitely look more retro.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. I do like that they, I wasn't expecting or really requiring the thread between generations of Sontarans to happen because, they changed costumes all the time in the classic series. But I do like that Dan Starkey gets a cameo, ? As the older Sontaran. And it's sort of like, the armor is similar, but the facial features are kind of like Strax-ish, but he's a lot older. And
so he's older, so that means he's probably 20.
It probably is, yeah.
Because they don't live that long, as I recall.
They don't. They're just these clone warriors and stuff, yeah. So I don't know if we'll see him more, but I did enjoy, because that I think we expressed concern about that. Like, how could you go back to do Sontarans if, no offense, Dan Stark is doing, who was brilliant and funny as Strax?
Yeah.
How can you?
But that's a whole thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they did. They pulled it off. I think we'll see. We'll see next week, I guess. But
yeah, I was I like the I looked at the cast list, and the guy who plays the Sontar, I don't know what his name is. It's 2 syllables, so it doesn't ring a bell. I think it starts with the K. He had a brilliant scene in an episode of This Time with Alan Partridge in season 1 that made me howl with laughter. He's a Scottish actor, so he made me laugh there. And so the fact that he's a Sontaran as well, I mostly looked him up to see how tall he was, because I don't think he was as short as Dan Starkey in Alan Partridge. He was sitting down the whole time.
But the way they shot it with him from below or him from above, and then the other one, it makes sense. Yeah, it
does. And whether or not he'll be short as Christopher Ryan, who's like 5'2", and played the Sontaran commander 13 years ago.
But the great thing about Christopher Ryan, and this worked in the young ones too, is it doesn't really matter how short he is because he has such a commanding presence. You kind of forget.
Yeah,
as Kiv. It worked as Kiv.
It worked as Kiv. Yeah.
Mostly due to the voice.
Yeah, I liked the design of Carvanista's spaceship, the interior. I loved it. I think that's so good. How I had like if they're all walking on the set of Marco Polo or something like that.
Yeah, a little
bit.
Sort
of like medieval Chinese.
I would have liked to have seen some dog accoutrements, like the odd rubber
like
toy lying around,
rubber bones or something.
Yeah, exactly, or a fire hydrant here or there.
Right.
As opposed to a dog wielding an axe that can be powered down by a sonic screwdriver.
Yeah. So, but not I do like the line, "I've got a bone to pick with you," the various little
I don't think he cared. I think his civilization is long past such things.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Is that it? Is there anything else? The Diane mystery is intriguing to me. I like that they cast an actor who has a shortened arm. She was born with an arm that was shorter than the other one, which is and no one mentions the thing about it. That's what I like about it. She's been in a lot of other stuff, actually. She's been in a few things since 2009. I checked into her. So that's intriguing. Are they after her because she's attached to Dan, who is attached to the Doctor, perhaps? Or
because the whole thing,
or because he's attached to Carvanista, not necessarily.
Thank you for saying his name because I couldn't remember it either. Carvanista. I think that whole thread's probably over and done with. I would assume. Except for the fact that the guy is in the division or was in the division, so she might pursue that. But the protecting Dan part probably isn't.
Yeah.
I would say because of Carvanista's association with the division, that seems a more likely outlet for why they would go after Diane. But we'll find out, I guess.
We'll find out. This is like reviewing episode 1 of a 6-part classic serial, and they're going, "Oh well, what's going on here?" And if we
have the weird feeling of not knowing.
I know.
You're exactly right. It's like watching, I don't know, let's say the Invasion of Time is maybe not the best example, but the Invasion of Time because it's a 6-part.
No, we'll say the Invasion of Time. Let's go.
It is a good example because for the first 2, what the hell is the Doctor doing? He's in league with the Vardens, and who the hell are the Vardens? So we're getting sort of the same vibes off this. So we'll see.
There you are, comparing it. Straight connection to In the Invasion of Time.
Yep.
pretty much.
It's a remake. It's a tribute, in fact, homage, if you will.
It is, yeah, pretty. Made under trying conditions. COVID here, a massive strike in
the return of Barusa, some Steamworks for a TARDIS, all that stuff.
Shooting in a disused hospital. We're probably going to have that at some point.
Yes,
We better have a Venus flytrap that eats Sontarans. That's important.
Both feature keys.
True. Will she wield a DMAT gun? I mean, the gun that that Ruth Doctor had, was pretty DMAT-ish.
That's true. Well, I think we've accidentally stumbled on how this whole thing will unfold.
I'm pretty sure we have not.
I regret to say. We'll post it in Reddit. Chibnall will basically see that, alter course like Westworld Season 2, and re-edit the entire...
Don't ever listen to fans. Like I'm preaching to the choir here, Chibnall. I'm sure you're listening too. Yeah. but do never listen to fans, including us.
Mm-hmm.
I did find it amusing with Carvanista basically trying Jedi mind tricks on Dan.
That was good. No, I don't think I will.
Just waves his hand. Like, at what point does that...
Is that the droids you're looking for?
Yeah.
What, you waving a hand around like some sort of Jedi? Mind tricks don't work on me, only money.
Yeah, I just want to... so we talked about Cloister Bells. Steve Manfred has dutifully and very ably provided a Journey to the Center of the TARDIS as well. In addition, so we got it right. We got the initial ones right. The Cloisters weren't jettisoned. He also says Cloister Bell was heard. It's only 3 classic stories.
Really? Wow.
Legopolis, Castrovalva, and that's right, Resurrected Alex. And then it goes away. Tegan goes, oh, well, no. And then that's it. That's all we hear of it.
That's the worst Tegan, and I wouldn't do any better. But that is the worst Tegan I've ever heard.
And in the TV movie. So there.
It makes sense to be in the TV movie because it's one more thing to explain with very little time to do it.
Yeah, it just serves as a warning bell. There you go. Something's going wrong. Cloister Bell.
I mean, it's my text message beep. So the rare time I have my phone on, I hear it and I'm like, was that the show or was that me? What's going on here?
Yeah, I've been podcasting way too long. I've had my phone ringer on in years.
Yeah, I generally don't have it on either. But if it's in my ears, it is on. If I'm listening to a podcast or something, I will hear it if a text. So
that's true. The episode itself was dedicated to one Julie Ankerson, who is a Foley artist on many different things. I think she won 3 different Emmys over the course of her career. She passed away, sadly, in July at the age of 62 or something like that. So everyone was sort of like, who's Julie Ankerson? So that's who that was, if you're all wondering. There's Radio Times put a story out about that, amongst the many other things that happened this weekend with stuff regarding. There's a whole Entertainment Weekly did a big thing with Mandip Gill, and I presume other parts of the cast as well. I was checking because I thought, is this the same Q&A that went out to all the other British press? But no, because they especially asked. John Bishop is not as well known in North America as he is in the UK, and we all stood up and said, yes, that is correct, because we didn't know who he was. But so anyway, links in the show notes if you want to watch all that. One of my favorite things to come out this past week was Stephen Moffat posting a little video apologizing for accidentally blowing the surprise of the Weeping Angels weeks ago or something like that. He just assumed it was public knowledge. How silly of him. And what I liked about it is he's standing there sort of with his phone in his backyard. So I'm sorry about that. The Weeping Angels. Then he sort of tilts his phone and there's a Weeping Angel statue behind him.
Because he's got one in his backyard, I'm pretty sure.
He's got one in his backyard. And then the video ends Stephen Moffat 1964 to 1791.
That was great.
That.
That was absolutely. Also, can I just say Stephen Moffat rocks a beard pretty hard. That's a fine looking beard.
He does, and he's still some of the best promotion for the show from the showrunner who preceded him. But whatever. Let's see here. I have thoughts and comments to make about the airings and stuff because, as you said, Warren, it dropped on Crave as it was airing on CTV Sci-Fi. Usually, we have to wait a whole.
It's usually there's a day delay. Usually,
24 hours. I did notice that CTV Sci-Fi have changed their whole package as of October 26th. You get everything. You used to have tiers, a Stars tier, an HBO tier. Now you just get everything.
No, Crave CTV. That's Crave that does that, not CTV
the Crave.
Sci-Fi.
That's Crave. That's Crave.
Yeah, and I got it because I pay for all that anyway. So it said, now you get all the stuff in French. I'm like, well, I don't care, but thanks, I guess.
Well, I never paid for the HBO section. Yeah, now they have it there.
I specifically did so I could watch Game of Thrones back in the day, and I just kept it because enough good stuff kept coming out. So,
well,
and I'm lazy.
That's good.
And it's $25 a month, so whatever.
Right. But it's so, I don't know what it was like in BBC America. Maybe people in the chat on our live stream, remember doing a live stream, can inform me of that. But if it dropped on streaming on BBC America, because you used to have to wait a day. It's still on iTunes. I'm waiting for it. I bought it for $15, the season pass. That'll probably still come out at like 1:30 local time here. But no, the change of it going to streaming is good. There were no commercial breaks, thankfully, in the streaming version. It was still cropped 16:9, though, sadly,
yes.
on both the broadcast and
I haven't watched the Crave version, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I checked briefly on the Crave version.
Did Crave have the dips to black?
No dips to black either. So
No, I think that's a vestige of the old days. Like, that's what they got from space, so that's what they used, probably.
That's what they got from space, but now it makes me think, like, did they chop in commercial blacks on their own? Like, did BBC Worldwide provide the
well, I think it's like, I'm just going by what we used to do way back when, where we would put commercial blacks into things for work, and that's probably what somebody's doing at space, I would assume.
Well, I assumed, maybe I guessed, given that I've seen the odd BBC America version of an episode that matched where the commercial breaks were in the space version. So that made me think, they must be sending out the exact same version to wherever, like not like, outside of the UK where they run commercials. Here are the commercial breaks. There you go. But now I guess by the looks of it, they are chopping in their own versions. I can't think that they would send out two versions. Maybe they would send out two versions.
Also, maybe you're not the only person who complained about commercial blacks, which they're not going to do anything about with legacy stuff, but they certainly probably could request it for new stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, they dipped to black. There was a commercial break after the opening titles on CTV Sci-Fi. The next one was after Dan and Diane meet outside the museum. So, like, within 7 minutes of the episode, we had two commercial breaks.
And apparently it's way worse on BBC America, from what scuttlebutt I saw.
It's bad news. The extended version, by the way, was provided by listener Katie Beth. They had like two or three little Jodie Whittaker talks about Dan.
As I predicted, it would be fluff and bumps.
Promotional stuff.
Yep.
Pretty much, yeah.
Not
pretty
actual
much.
episode stuff. Okay.
No, not as such. So there. So yeah, boo, 16:9. That is unfortunate. I don't know why they do that, because other shows have the proper aspect ratio, and I don't know why.
I guess you'll have to check your digital purchase when it becomes available for its aspect ratio.
I'm not
just
hopeful.
PIM Foundation and anything else on Apple TV, all that stuff, and it's Apple, so they can do this. It's 4K and HDR. I'm like, we're not asking for that. We're just asking for a proper aspect ratio.
I wouldn't mind 4K. I paid money for it. I'd like that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. Don't get me wrong. Foundation looks phenomenal in 4K and HDR, and so does the morning show, which you shouldn't care, but it does look really good.
That should be a multicam videotape, really.
Yeah, probably. I don't know if Jennifer Aniston and her giant paycheck would go for that. But
you got to cut costs somehow. Season 3
she's probably
of the
the
morning
executive
show.
Producer too, so you take it up with her.
Multicam.
I know you're one of Hollywood's biggest stars and you produce this show, but here's what I think. Some guy in Edmonton.
Indeed. Next week, hey, the North America sets our clocks back next week, so we don't have to. It's 7 hours for us, 5 hours for the East Coast, in between the UK, and so I think it's at 11:15 a.m. our time, 6:15 on BBC One on Sunday, November 7th, War of the Sontarans, and there is no quote-unquote simulcast on BBC America for the premiere. It's just going to be at 6 or 7?
Just the evening one?
Just the evening one, yeah. So, So there you go. So this is why...
And CTV Sci-Fi, I'm sure, as well.
Because
they didn't do anything special this week, so why do anything next week?
CTV Sci-Fi is the definition of nothing special. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah. They tweeted about it. They tweeted about it during the day, earlier before it actually aired.
We're all very proud of you, CTV.
I know.
Did a little promotion on Facebook for it as well. Yeah.
Oh, did they really? Okay. I didn't watch TSN or any other Bell Media property that closely to see if they were promoting it on other stations' broadcasts.
How could you when you're watching Doctor Who 4 times in the afternoon?
No, but this is Steven, so he probably would have some sports on in the background.
Well, none of it's on TSN because they don't have the national NHL rights, so I don't, But they weren't doing any drop-ins on TSN local broadcasts of like Canadians games or Ottawa Senators or something like that. So I didn't see any of that, which they sometimes do. So there you go. That's the update of Doctor Who in Canada. Anything else about Flux episode 1 you want to talk about?
War of the Sontarans is listed as being 10 minutes longer. At
59 minutes. Yep, 59 minutes long.
They did pack a hell of a lot into I thought this would be a 60-minute, to be honest with you. Like,
I know.
Because there's so much in it, and also it's the first one of 6, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it was not. 49 mere minutes.
I mean, it worked fine as the 52 minutes or whatever it was, but I'm just surprised it didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yes, episode 2, the synopsis of which is in the show notes, probably, but we don't usually read them out because we don't like to spoil things, although it's episode 2. Although maybe we should even be more paranoid about reading out spoilers because it's episode 2. It's not just a completely new story or anything like that.
2 of 6, too.
Continuation, at least to some degree.
Yeah.
Also, we're probably going to get the title for the next one pretty quick because we did for this one, for War of Sontarans, before this.
Yeah, we did we? Oh, all these things to look forward to. Logistics, episode timings, and everything else, and stats
next week.
Yeah.
Your spreadsheet finger just quivered.
Oh, it's always open.
I'm just relishing the thought of people being able to see Warren's expression when stats happens next week.
Yeah, disgust, absolutely. It'll be something like this.
Yeah, the live stream will actually
see it. That's an exclusive
it.
for the live stream there.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, we're doing a live. Yeah, so this is why we do the live streams when we do. By the way, people who are saying, "Oh, there was a live stream version of this." Yes. Well, you're basically listening to it now if you're listening to the podcast.
And you can play it back anytime you want. Should you be that insane?
If you want to do that, why we're doing it at 10:15 Eastern time is because that's when the BBC America version will be done. Wasn't the case obviously this time around, but Space only has the one time, and anyway, so this is why we're doing it now. This is why the episode is happening when it's
also happening. We don't get the episode to the early afternoon, so
no, we don't.
Our time.
Yep. Well, hey, this is fun. Let's dip back into our regular segments. That being, of course, the Time Lash, looking back through history. This week in history, it's all. This didn't happen exactly in history, but I finished the 10th planet early this morning, aka last night, which I thought was quite momentous because my one episode a day journey through the great journey of life here managed to sort of like coincide with the very beginning of Jodie Whittaker's last season of Doctor Who. So
now here's my question: did you also play in a separate screen at the same time, Twice Upon a Time? So you get sort of the non-canonical, but sort of chronological, leading up into him regenerating.
Oh no, I did. Maybe foretelling what I was going to do today, and watched an episode of Doctor Who 4 times in 6 hours. I did watch both the animated and the telesnap recon of episode 4.
Of course you did.
I couldn't choose, so I watched both
at the same time, or one after the other.
One after the other. Now, the great debate is, and maybe you two can help me with this. You can't help me with this. No one can.
I can help you with this. Stop doing this.
How are you going to watch Power, color,
How am I going to watch Power? How am I... Well,
color.
Okay. There's...
Color.
Why are you a colorist, Chris? Why are you a color advocate?
Because it's different.
Although I would too.
Because you've got color, you've got black and white, you've got recon. So, I mean, there's 3 choices here. Or just watch all 3. There you go. Done.
Here's the question, though. There was the color version, there was the black and white version, there was the telesnap version. That's my preferred one.
You should watch it in color, as BBC America intended for you to do.
But here's the thing. Now, understand that I also have a magical antenna that also obtained this, but there was the special edition that came out only in the UK that they updated the animation for. And that's in black and white only.
Right. Yes.
I mean,
so now
to be fair, I probably would watch
4 different versions.
I think I watched Power in black and white when I originally watched it.
So
I'm pretty sure I did.
I can't. That's like 2 hours a night. I don't want to watch the. No, that's too much. That's too much.
2 hours a night of Doctor Who is too much for you now?
Way for 6
what?
nights?
What are you talking about?
Too much.
Steven,
I'm busy
that is
these
a load
days.
of nonsense.
Thank you, Warren. That's way too much.
No, I'm saying it's a load of nonsense that you're saying. 2 hours is a drop in the bucket for you. That's an hors d'oeuvre of Doctor Who. I might watch 2. I can't remember if I've seen the color version of it. It just seems wrong to me. I don't know
how many times have you watched a recon, whether it's the same version or not. A recon.
Of Power?
Yeah.
4 or 5, maybe 6 times.
Okay, so you've done that. So to
I
watch
know.
something else.
Just feel like I'm...
And Chris has kind of got a point here. Watch the color one because it's new. It's a new and different version of what you already know. So why not go full
Or do the
on?
black and white special edition one.
I want to watch the special edition for sure.
There you go. Done.
Do I watch that in addition to another version, though, is what I'm going to say.
No.
Well, you're going to
crazy
because you're a
talk.
completionist. So
really
why are we
am.
even debating this? You're just going to do it.
I know. I'm in my waning years. I've already talked about this, and now I have very little time left.
Like, forgot that means I'm already dead. So please stop talking like that.
47 in February.
I'm gonna be 51 in a month and a half. For
All
God's
right.
sake.
I have a sore knee sometimes now. This is how it starts. You get a sore knee when you're 36
Okay.
and goes downhill. Can I just point out before we get on to the rest of the time lapse is that I also with the Magic Antenna because I don't want to wait until July 31st, 2025 when the stupid Web of Fear DVD is supposed to come out here in North America. It still says that. 5 years away. I took a very quick peek at episode 3. And apart from some janky looking facial expressions, I was thinking, I feel like I'm watching a multicam studio live animated episode.
Color or black and white?
Black and white. It's only, I think it's only in black and white. At least the version I had. Is it in color as well? I liked it. I thought it looked a little bit janky, but you know what? I think it conveyed the feel and the atmosphere of 1968 Doctor Who more than the animated versions
Psychedelic
that they put out.
somewhat high.
A little bit, no, like really janky and like wide shots
Rowan and
everywhere.
Martin's Web of Fear.
Yeah, it was pretty much. I liked it a lot.
Sock it to me. I gotta say that.
Yeah. November 1st, 2014, 7 damn years ago. Dark Water. The cliffhanger of which, of course, revealed that Missy was the master.
Oh, that was great.
Wasn't it though?
It wasn't
still
just
possibly
the reveal. It was also where the reveal took place. It's on the steps of St. Paul's.
Right.
Where,
Which a year later we were desecrating. You and me.
We
and
got
Steven.
that massive history from the invasion.
That's true. Didn't when they shot that scene, I want to recall, I think Michelle Gomez
They
mouthed
said other
it.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, or they said other stuff.
It was 80 yard.
It was 80 yard. I think they just like mouthed it because you couldn't. They had to match.
And I think
what-
they shot multiple things as well, like her saying she was the Ronnie and she was beautiful.
Nice.
And whatever as well.
That's great.
I
I gotta say, because I was listening to, I can't remember what it was. It was something on Reality Bomb about the Ronnie, Mark the Ronnie, or not, no, the other one, Time of the Ronnie.
Okay.
Why,
Your favorite.
other than Kate O'Mara being a good, sort of a defense of it, yeah, but Kate O'Mara being a good actor, other than that, like the Ronnie's in 2 different stories. Why is she such a big damn deal? I don't understand it. Like
three is Dimensions in Time.
Oh, well,
Warren, I think
then 2.
three.
2. But anyway, what I'm saying is like he's a cool character and all, but like
Right.
I mean, I'm sure I go on about Drax. So what the hell am I talking
I
about?
suspect that Dimensions in Time notwithstanding, had Doctor Who not been taken off the air after
she'd be back for sure.
after
yeah.
season 26, she would have been an ongoing thing.
I guess maybe what I'm asking is why do people immediately assume any female character, which also doesn't make any sense. She could regenerate into a guy.
Right.
Would just for a while there, everybody was assuming, this new character's got to be the Ronnie. All right, fine, sure.
Look
Whatever.
at what's his name? Ken, the general, the Gallifreyan general.
Yeah.
guy?
Ken Bones. Ken Bones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who turned into a Tania or Tanaya?
Tanaya Miller. Yeah.
Who is in Foundation as a religious leader.
Oh, okay.
Well,
also
thanks for
in Years and
spoiling.
Years.
Yeah, also Years and Years. And that horror show with the house, they do things. It's on Netflix. I don't remember it.
I never really
Erica watched
spoil
it.
anything. Honestly,
She's in it. Apparently she
got.
got an award for it for Norway. She got in that show that I don't know the name of or
care
anything
about.
about. Yeah. Anyway, Dark Water, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I think Missy might be my favorite master. Like it's a tough. I mean, I love Skeleton Master, but he's kind of silly when you get right down to it.
And Jacoby was there for like 12 minutes. on
Jacoby's
screen.
awesome. D'Agato is obviously the chairman of the board, just like Hartnell
is.
is. But Missy's just so damn good. And
very
not to
good.
take anything away from the other masters, other than maybe
Or Sasha
Roberts.
Dewan, who's really good.
Sasha
too.
Dewan's pretty great too, but Missy's still my kind of champion. She's just so damn funny. And there's more to her. She's not just evil. She's actually trying not to be.
It's a bit of a trip to watch the current season of Doom Patrol. Because Michelle Gomez is a recurring guest actor.
Oh, really?
Throughout the series, and one of episode 3 or something like that, the main cast, one of them refers to her as Doctor Who. It's just really weird to see those worlds collide.
There's a
hilarious.
a show called, which is still on Crave, I think, called The Flight Attendant, which is sort of this wacky murder mystery kind of
Kaylee
thing.
Cuoco.
Yes, well, I know what show she's from, and she's good in this show, and I don't care about the other show she's in, but which we will not mention. But it's so, everybody's such a wacky, insane lunatic in such trouble that Michelle Gomez is in it, and she's an assassin, and she's the most normal person there. And she's being Michelle Gomez. So, but compared to everybody else, she's quite even keeled.
She's very eccentric in Green Wing. Green Wing or The Green Wing? I haven't seen it, but I know
Green
it.
Yeah, I think it's Green Wing. Yeah,
Green Wing.
And she's just delightfully eccentric. I interviewed her on stage at Chicago TARDIS however many years back, and she was fab. So
please Google Psycho Bitches and Mary Queen of Scots.
oh my God.
Unless you're under 13, in which case do not.
Don't do that. But I will say this. Describe yourself in 5 words. That's all. That's all we're going to say.
It's hilarious. Anyway.
Three stupendous, notable Doctor Who stories in the history of television premiered on different years on November 2nd. The Invasion, Episode 1.
Speaking of, yeah.
Which did not feature any Cybermen. We were a month away from Cybermen.
But I'll tell you what it did. It did have Becca.
Becca, he was in there. It also doesn't exist anymore, sadly, which is a shame. And no, it wasn't wiped because Invasion of the Dinosaurs had the same title. It's an old wives' tale,
But it's kind of a lifestyle you could buy into. It sounds like the kind of thing that could happen.
It's like everyone just is like did a Control F of the BBC archives. Invasion. Delete
Listen,
everything.
We've both worked in TV. We know for a fact that level of stupidity is par for the course.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? There's stupidity, but there's also indifference, which is why there aren't 253 missing episodes. There's only 97.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes,
they should have been all destroyed, but they weren't because we still got some, I guess.
I need to sit on something. These canisters will do.
How many desks were propped up in the BBC?
I guarantee several.
In the mid-'70s with a film canister of Fury from the Deep, Episode 5, just sitting there. God. And then they got new desks. Oh, we don't need this anymore. Oh,
yeah, that's probably why it ended up people's attics. Oh, Grandpa didn't know what to do with this, so he just took it home.
Like all those 70s furniture with they look like kind of like inflatable Barbie furniture that were probably just infested BBC television center. That was the reason we have missing Doctor Who episodes.
I still don't. I mean, I was alive in the 70s, so I must have seen this for myself. But I just still don't believe that furniture actually existed because it's just ridiculously impractical.
I know it is, but I kind of like it.
Why would you sit on a balloon? It makes no sense. Anyway,
I know you could keep fish in there too when you think about it.
Same reason houses had dugout living rooms, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of want that.
Yeah, but it really is a tripping hazard. I know I'd die if I had one of those.
I saw an ad for an old couch that has this massive sectional. It's like a couch bed in a way. It's like it comes as like a big, massive square. And if you have, I don't know how big of a living room. It's the size of a city block, I think. But it would be cool to have. And they don't have those anymore. They don't have those. They just have tiny, here's a couch.
This remind me of communal areas in student union buildings. That's basically what they are in your house.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Now they got IKEA's here's how to fit furniture in your 253 square foot apartment. As if oh wow, we've hit the big time. We have 253 square feet.
We have furniture. Wow.
New York City.
I don't have to use these stupid film casters anymore.
1987. Episode 1 of Delta and the Bannermen.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
A dark day indeed.
Which
what a great
takes place in Wales, in England.
That made me cough. Yep. That's right, it does. I watched, of course, the raw footage of that.
Of course you did. What a surprise.
Relatively recently, so... That was a happy day. And then Warren's favorite story, I think, from the McCoy era, episode 1 of The Happiness Patrol premiered.
No, Ghostlight is still my most loathed, but
very next week. But I bet you when I said The Happiness Patrol, I bet you the cleaners and the great chief architect or something that probably entered in your mind. You're thinking, that's the Kangs, right? That's Kangs.
No, I can never keep track of either of them because they're both suck, and I don't like either of them, and they're both sort of in the same setting, more or less. So
We haven't done a commentary. Have we done a commentary for either of those? Paradise Towers feels like we have. I don't know.
I'm not
think
about
so.
to look right now.
Yeah,
He's not
but
gonna do it.
Paradise Towers does feel like we've done it, or a miniscope about it or something,
Yeah.
or a commentary.
Well,
We must have.
We did Chris Clough.
we did who did
But
Happiness, and we did Nicholas Mallet, who did Paradise Towers. Almost forgot the name of it there. So
Yeah, see, it's infectious. It happens.
yeah. I think Organon debuted in The Creature from the Pit, episode 2, right? No, November 3rd, 1975.
That's Chris. He's the expert on Creature from the Pit.
Happiness Patrol, we have not done a commentary, but Delta we apparently have.
He did. Oh, I know we did Delta. I thought we did Paradise Towers, but
We have that somewhere.
we did Paradise Towers.
Yeah, we have
Okay.
Dragonfire, Happiness Patrol, Greatest Show, and Survival left of the McCoy stuff.
Right.
Just hanging there like one of those nets full of rocks when you drive past it on a mountain. You're just like, that's gonna fall sometime.
Just look, while warning falling rocks. Thinking, I've driven
exactly.
past this mountain how many times and I've never seen a falling rock? Yeah, it's never going to happen. Here come the falling rocks.
Yeah, here it comes, and it's ghost light. That's what it is.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember we did the Ghostlight commentary, Chris and I,
Without
when you were
warning.
in
I was in
at your
Egypt.
place.
I was in Egypt. Yes.
You literally ran away to a different continent rather than do a
I
commentary
remember
for
texting you
Ghostlight.
guys or whatever, probably Google whatever, whatever the chat thing was at the time, and laughing about it. The fact that I had escaped.
I think it was
you're
probably
probably right
ICQ
to do
or
so.
something. On it. Yeah.
Steven doesn't like Ghostlight either. So
No, I don't. I find
It's
it
crap, you see.
incomprehensible. But we'll
And
slag
pretentious
on
at the
that.
same time.
Very, very pretentious.
also this week, November 4th, we had the Saranga Conundrum starring Brett Goldstein of Ted Lasso fame.
Oh my God! Remember when
Steven's
everyone
favorite show?
when everyone hated on the Saranga Conundrum, except for one person, that person being
That was
Erica
Erica.
Ensign. Yeah, maybe because she knew that Roy Kent was in that episode.
Yeah, I wonder how much
Well,
revisionist history is
here.
happening now that
he's
because
there.
he's in it.
He's every effing where. So
Is that
So
a
how many
thing?
people
Is that
who
a-
love Ted Lasso and Roy
Ted
Kent in
Lasso?
particular, like, Saranga wasn't so bad when you think about it.
Yeah, I liked it. It had a cool white spaceship and stuff.
I didn't mind it either.
I-
it
I-
wasn't
I
great,
have-
but it was okay.
I've not gone back to watch Goldstein's performance in that since Ted Lasso became a thing.
A thing? No. Oh, he's like the hot doctor in that. He's got like,
Yeah.
I guess. Writes too. Apparently he's a writer. Writes a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
He does.
I think he's one of the writers on
And
Ted
he was,
Lasso.
he was in a movie a few years back with Jodie Whittaker as well.
I didn't know that. What movie was that? What movie?
Something adult.
Oh, I know that one. No, I don't. I was thinking of
I
Charlize
can't
Theron
remember.
movie.
I'd have to look it up.
I know I think I know the movie you mean. So he's in it with Jodie Whittaker, and he wrote it,
Wrote, I think, something like that. Yeah.
and he stars in it as well.
And he's got
Yeah.
a new show that he's co-writing with somebody too. I can't remember
Wow.
the name of it off the top of my head.
Well,
He's a talented fella.
he's a talented fellow, especially in Saranga Conundrum and whatever that football show he's in. But I don't know what that is.
5 years younger than you and I, Stephen, and way more.
Shut up!
Way
Come
more
on.
successful.
He looks way older. He's got a beard. I can't grow a beard. I cannot.
I don't see how you're winning this argument. I can't grow a beard, so take that, Brett.
Yeah,
Goldstein.
he's obviously older than me.
Adult life skills, and he starred, but he did not write.
Okay, I think I know. I think I was looking through Jodie Whittaker's filmography when she was announced as Doctor Who, and that sounds
No, she's
familiar
in an
to
episode
me.
of Black Mirror. She's quite good in it.
Oh, yes.
And not blonde, which is very strange.
No,
she's
she's not. That's
Got her
not
natural hair color in adult life.
Oh, I know.
Skills.
It's just weird not to see her blonde because that's what she is. as
Oh,
a
I know.
doctor,
No,
so.
you could tell from her
Attack-
character
Attack the
options
Block.
figure. No, she's their character options figure has distinct
That's true. That's very true. Yes.
roots coming through there. Probably a little too much, like a spider jumped on her head. Possibly from arachnids in the UK. Speaking of Power of the Daleks, oh, what a shame! I almost matched to the original broadcast date, November 5th. A new Doctor in the house in the form of Patrick Troughton in the Power of the Daleks, Part 1 or Episode 1, I guess it was. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, there you go. There's your new Doctor. Keep watching, I guess. There's Daleks. Hope you
Well,
like
it
the
worked
show
somehow.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it's kind of like the moon landing. You know, the moon landing, when you think back and think, God, that was really ramshackle. And if we tried the exact same thing today with that same technology, knowing what we knew, we would never have got anywhere close to being off the ground. And when you're thinking, let's completely change the lead actor and make him a different character, but the same character, and we'll do it a week after we just replace the old one.
I know what you're saying here, and I kind of half agree with you that it's a very big leap. However, it is not the leap of putting mankind onto another surface. Changing an actor out on a TV show in England is not quite the same scale as landing on the moon.
But in TV land, it is.
Well, didn't they both happen at Lime Grove Studios?
It did.
That's right. Nicely played, Chris. Well done.
Did.
Well done. That was nicely played.
The year before, Kubrick saw Dalek's master plan and with Katarina floating through space and thought, listen, I've got a secret project coming up in about, I don't know, the summer of 1969, and not the one that Bryan Adams is going to sing about, and I would like to learn some techniques about it. So yeah, I think you're right. It is all about that. Speaking of arrivals, there was a departure. Vicky left the TARDIS at the end of the Mythmakers, episode 4, Horse of Destruction.
Such a well thought out, pre-planned,
great title. Great title.
Character development laden departure that one was.
Back from holiday. By the way, you're written out. Oh, I love season 3. I love how they just casually just cast about, you know what? I'm the new producer here. Who are you? Oh, you're the ex-companion, I guess. Oh, that's the first I've heard of it. I know, I'm telling you right now, you're out. That's what happened at the end of that. So there we are. That's that, dear listener, is what happened this week in history in the Time Lash. So next up, there's a Gallifrey 1 update. That's what happened. That was usually massive giant news that we would talk about in the early part of the episode. But hey, there's a new Doctor Who episode to talk about, so we talked about that instead. Tickets are still available. Not too many tickets because they have capped it now.
Exactly, yeah.
At 2,600. Usually it's what, 3,300?
Somewhere in it's more than 3,000 for sure, yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, there's a whole thing called the COVID-19 pandemic that is still going on, in case you're wondering, in case you're listening back to, like several years later. That's where we are right now.
Well, it's still going on.
Well, it's still going on. We'll still be there.
Well, your shotgun is at the ready on your balcony, trying to take down the zombie variant.
Yeah, there is there's one whole track of programming that's gone. That's to sort of like, you know, clear up the schedule a little bit and thus clear up the hallways a little bit. The photo studio's moving up on the main floor where program hall B used to be back in the day. These things might change again back to what it used to be if and when we get out of this pandemic thing. Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of amazing how they had to sit down and, because you wouldn't normally have to do this, figure out where things are going to get crowded and stop that from happening. Because you just didn't have to worry about that as much because it was just people moving around, like no big deal. But now it is a big deal. But it's fundamental stuff that it's tough to wrap your head around. But they did. So
yep. So well done. The video room returns. Probably a lot of people asked for the video room. They got rid of the video room last time. People said we like the video room. So the video room is back. And there's a map. I love maps. Of the whole, what the convention floor will sort of look like and everything. And there is a brief sort of like a general schedule of events where we can say that once again for the 117th year in a row.
Yes.
We are kicking off the main programming on the main stage at Gallifrey 1, 11 a.m., 1 hour after the dealer's room opens. Not at the same time, not before.
Interesting. So I'll just come on stage with a bunch of dollies in my hands. Yeah,
when you're not dealing with pre-show nerves as we all do.
That's how I'll cope.
Yeah, it's going to the dealer's room. So it's an hour-long show, 11 a.m., Radio for Skaro. No word on who the guests are, at least none to you. People, we have some ideas what it's going to be, but yeah.
If you go to the dealer's room in advance, Warren, then you can like have a little show and tell segment of what you buy.
I could. I'm sure everybody's clamoring for that.
That would be great. That would be lovely. Yeah. So there. All the links to the show notes. We're not going to bother saying about the discussion panel because by the time this episode comes out, it'll be done. But in November we'll see a further guest announcement to come. So that is in the future. Gallifrey 1 when this comes out, it'll be November, which means it'll be 3.5 months away from Gallifrey 1.
Madness.
It's scary.
Utter madness.
It's scary. A little bit. What else is happening? Yes, City of Death BFI screening is happening on December the 5th. Tickets go on sale on November 4th, so that obviously hints at a Season 17 Blu-ray set coming out sometime shortly afterwards in mid-December, just before Christmas, and probably sometime in 2023 here in North America, which is unfortunate because I'm really looking forward to that. What a surprise that they chose City of Death to screen at the BFI.
Yeah, why not? Horns and Imon was top of my list. I know that much.
It was right there. It was right there. They could have done
or
it.
They could have done like a shadow-a-thon and shown like 4 different versions of Shadow back to back to back to back.
All of them, including Ian Levine.
Yeah. That's
even better. All 4, like all 4, like the movie Time Code, just to split the screen into 4 and just show everything.
You know, that's one of those movies where you're like, oh yeah, that happened. I totally forgot the Time Code was a thing that existed.
That did happen. It's not going to come out in 2023, but it most likely will come out before it comes time for me to watch Shada during my day by day. And yes, I am leaving time for Shada. And I was thinking, am I literally going to watch a 2-hour movie in one day? Well, I mean, you are intended
just watch it 6 times in a row.
No, well, now they're going to have the episodic version on the Blu-ray. So yeah, but
there's also the episodic. The VHS version was episode, but there's like not much to episodes, like 4 or 3 onward.
No,
because all the
it's like 12
stuff
minutes or something.
Yeah.
But I think the spreadsheet that listener Joe sent me way back when that I started on June 20th, I think that counts as shot. I have to check this. I think it counts shot as one day because it's the movie version. I could be wrong about that, so I might. When we get up there, thankfully, there's only one season more of Jodie Whittaker, so I could still fit it in before November 23rd, 2023. And indeed,
not thankfully, I'm not happy about that. I want more Jodie Whittaker. Come on,
I do too. I know that, but I'm thinking for my own personal journey quest here. I can always watch 2 episodes a day. Yeah. So there, links to the show notes if you want to get a ticket.
We'll also have to do the Palm Again Lala Ward version. Mix it up a little.
Yeah, it's that too. I don't know what I'm gonna do. There's a lot of other stuff in there. I don't know. We'll deal with that when we get there. The last bit of news is the Evil of the Daleks, which comes out finally on DVD here in North America on November 16th or 15th. I can't remember which. It's been out for months in the UK. It's streaming now on BBC America. It's not. I don't think it's airing. It might be airing. I haven't checked the schedules, but I did notice that. Hey. It's streaming on BBC America. So this continues the very gradual steering of the dinosaur ship towards streaming stuff as opposed to just relying on...
Is it on BritBox, though, in Canada? Because this is the kind of thing that might no.
No, so neither is the
A boy can hope.
Yeah. So anyway, The Evil of the Daleks is streaming only now, which is probably why we're still getting this DVD released like months after the fact. But so there, check it now if you want to get it. If you don't want to wait for the DVD, you can watch it. There's no VAM though. I don't know if there are 4 different animated versions of The Evil of the Daleks to get through, but there is at least one version, and it's on BBC America on streaming. So there you are, folks. An hour and 20 odd minutes of this nonsense, and you just listened to it,
or attended it,
or attended it in person. Next week around the same time. In the same place, we will talk about episode 2 of Doctor Who Flux, Chapter 2, M- War of the Sontarans, next week on Radio Free Skaro. So, until next time, I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
So long for now.
You've been listening to Radio Free Skaro. Find us online at radiofreeskaro.com. Follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at Radio Free Skaro. Subscribe to us on iTunes and donate to the show at patreon.com/Radio Free Skaro. Thank you.